are hearing an update.
Our educators who have completed the training are grateful to have received high-quality professional development that has a direct application to the work they do each and every day with students.
Right now, fighting fraud is front and center for lawmakers at the Minnesota Capitol. They're taking up a trio of GOP-backed bills aimed at cracking down on criminals stealing hundreds of millions of your taxpayer dollars. So we first told you about these proposals weeks ago, but now that the House is in order, a proper committee can hear them. So here's a refresher on how lawmakers are hoping to protect your taxpayer dollars. One of the bills would create stricter reporting requirements if a state agency employee expected fraud. Another proposal would establish a new annual report from the Office of the Legislative Auditor detailing if agencies have followed OLA's recommendations to boost internal controls to help prevent fraud. And the third proposal would boost protections for whistleblowers who expose that fraud. The House State Government Committee started taking up these bills at 8:15 this morning. Then later this afternoon at 12:30, a Senate panel will hear a bipartisan proposal to establish a new Office of Inspector General to be the watchdog for state agencies. And then also happening at 12:30, the Senate GOP is expected to hear more details about their package of proposals to tackle the issue. And all of this while the trial continues this morning for the alleged ringleader of the largest pandemic fraud case in the country. Amy Bach is one of 70 accused of bilking $250 million from a federal program meant to feed Minnesota children during the COVID pandemic. Prosecutors say Bach oversaw the scheme carried out by her nonprofit, Feeding Our Future. 30 other defendants in the case have already pleaded guilty. Now, let me show you some full screens now on what the prosecutors had to say during their opening statements. They accused Bach of breaking the system, saying she, quote, transferred her tiny nonprofit into a money-making engine. The defendants in this case saw an opportunity in crisis. From the moment they saw it, they went all the way. And her defense attorneys argue she never cared about making money, saying, quote, you'll see the lies. The Minnesota Department of Education refused to take responsibility for their failures. In the last hour in St. Paul, the 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals began hearing arguments in a lawsuit against a city police officer. Hamdi Mohamud says she wants to hold St. Paul officer Heather Weicker accountable for violating her constitutional rights. Take a look at this. According to the lawsuit, here's some information. Weicker made up evidence against Mohammed to arrest and imprison her. Back in 2011, she implicated 3 teenage girls, including Mohammed, in a human trafficking investigation. Now, Mohammed was imprisoned for nearly 2 years before charges were dropped. Now, represented by the Institute for Justice, she says she is fighting to hold officers accountable. Now, Weicker argues she was acting as a federal officer and because of that has absolute immunity. The hearing will decide if Mohammed can proceed with her lawsuit. Again, this started at 9 this morning and we'll bring you updates as soon as we have them. All right, we have new video right now I want to show you. Take a look at this multi-car crash on I-35 northbound in Albert Lea. You can see one pickup pulling a trailer slid off the road there, but it's still blocking it, and another truck tries to avoid it, but slides into the ditch on the side, flips over into a nearby field. Now, this happened just after 7 o'clock last night, and State Patrol has just gotten back to us. They say, thankfully, no one was seriously injured. I want to take a live look outside now of downtown St. Paul. As you can see, kind of a cloudy, overcast morning. It is currently 0 degrees out there. It's so cold. Let's check in with next weather meteorologist Joseph Dames.
Here's our wind chill tracker as I look at the Twin Cities here, and notice that we are starting off our day somewhere between 10 and 20 below. There will be some improvements tomorrow. Not much. I think over the next 48 hours, we could potentially be feeling like it is below 0 for that whole span of time. Obviously, there might be a couple moments where the wind settles down a bit, might feel a little bit warmer than that. But as far as the air temperature goes, it's not going to be warming up very much. And look at Thursday morning. Temperatures down to 20 to 30 below for the wind chill tracker. So you may be thinking about, I got to get out of here. Maybe you're hopeful for spring forward about 26 days away. St. Patrick's Day, 34 days away. Sometimes St. Patrick's Day could bring in some warmer days, 50s, 60s, and 70s. We'll see if we could get that this time of the year. But for the short-term holidays here coming up, it's going to feel like winter. It's going to actually feel a lot colder than where it usually is this time of the year. Our odds for snowfall here tomorrow, very, very low. I don't think we'll see anything in the Twin Cities, but the southern portion of the state definitely will get a little bit of snow, mainly southeast of Rochester or around the Rochester area. And then Friday, we have a shot for some snowfall for Valentine's Day, and I'm going to help you out with that forecast in just one moment. Let me get you through today, though. First, you can see a high of 3 degrees. Clouds increasing down to the south, clearer skies up north. Again, another cold morning tomorrow, but it should be slightly warmer by about 5 to 10 degrees. Notice that the snow starts creeping in on Wednesday morning through mid-morning, and then it clears out as we head into the evening hours. It could potentially skirt portions of Dakota County. Goodhue County, areas like Red Wing could pick up a little bit of snowfall for tomorrow. Eventually that clears out. Thursday's just a cold, dry day. I'll show you the snowfall forecast for our first event here on our Wednesday, and then I'll take you to our Friday event. Notice that we get about an inch in Rochester, and there you go. There's kind of that line there right around Dakota County. So southern Dakota County folks, you may see a little trace of snow for tomorrow before it all clears on out. All right, Friday we have a better chance to see some snowfall around central Minnesota and portions of western Wisconsin. You can see that increase in the afternoon. That means if you have reservations Friday evening for dinner, Valentine's Day, you're going out, just be ready for some snow on the ground, all right? Things could be a little bit slower. Give yourself some time to travel to wherever you need to go for that. And dress warmly for it as well. 80 degrees on Saturday, Sunday 5, Monday at 8 degrees. This is just too cold.
Too cold indeed. And guess what? The high school alpine skiing state championship kicks off today after a delayed start. I'm looking right now, the current temperature in Biwabik, which is where one of the competitions is negative 8 degrees. So coming up at 10:30, right here at the live desk, we're speaking with the parent of a high school senior competing in Biwabik today. So we'll hear more about how the tournament is coming together in this bitter cold. Space heaters, in this frigid cold can be pretty convenient, but they also pose potentially hazardous conditions. So we have some safety tips for you. But first, pressing pause on pennies could save the U.S. millions of dollars. But could it cost you more? Jeff Wagner and photojournalist Nick Luneman explain.
I've been doing this over 50 years, involved in lots of different coins, both U.S., world coins, currency.
Gary Adkins is what's known as a professional numismatist. He makes a living buying and selling coins.
Early large pennies, you can see.
One most commonly collected just happens to be the one with the least financial value.
Unfortunately, we get way too many pennies. Everybody has probably a jar at home or a dresser drawer where they just take the pennies out of their pocket, they pitch it into the drawer.
Ah, the penny, the little zinc coin that finds its way to the bottom of the washer more than it does the cash register, which explains why it may soon be a thing of the past.
There's a reason why there's take a penny, leave a penny things at cash registers and all the convenience stores, that it just doesn't have the same buying power as it used to.
On Sunday, President Trump announced in a Truth Social post that he has instructed his Secretary of Treasury to stop producing new pennies, citing the wasteful spending to produce the coin. So what does that mean?
If you were to go to the store, it means that you can't see prices at 99 cents anymore, that either they're going to round up or things are going to be priced differently, and those might have some small impacts on people.
So if something was 3 cents, it'll now be 5 cents. Something that's 5 cents or 6 cents or 7 cents now gets rounded up to 10 cents. So in a way, it's inflationary.
Even with that rounding up, most people won't feel that when they go to the grocery store necessarily.
With photojournalist Nick Luneman.
It's still a little bit extra money, and it's always tight for everybody right now.
Jeff Wagner, WCCO News.